All right, what is going on and how y'all doing out there on a Monday, January the 30th? We are here live in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Very happy for you to join us today. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Down here is a little soggy, but it warmed up just a smidge today. I don't know if I'm not a cold person and not 60 degrees is better than 30 degrees. So I consider that to be a decent day. I didn't have to have a jacket when I went outside. So when I don't have to have the jacket, I think that makes for a better day for me. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Atlanta Bird Gang, welcome in. Thank y'all for always tuning in and supporting your unc and everything. And appreciate all the birthday wishes yesterday. Thank you, everyone, for that. I enjoyed walking into number 54 yesterday. So hopefully I'm around a little bit longer to see my Falcons win a Super Bowl. Lord have mercy. And I was thinking about things like that as we watch yesterday's AFC and NFC championship games, which of course one turned into I guess not quite the matchup that we thought, but I also have thoughts about that too. And then the second one, which I did consider, I thought the Kansas City Cincinnati game was going to be that particular game where we were going to be oohing and ahhing. And my son and I, when you're watching a game, if you're that guy, that girl, that fan, that when you're watching the game and you can't sit down and it's not even your team because you just really like great games. And I think that was a great game. And I'm glad that they ended up putting that game on last as opposed to San Francisco and Philadelphia. But we'll go through that. We'll also talk a little bit about the Atlanta Falcons' new defensive coordinator. So just a lot of stuff to talk about. A little bit more on the salary cap today. Salary cap was said to be 224. I have it up here. $224 million this year. So at the moment, the Falcons are looking at $56 million. Now that doesn't include a lot of things, all the free agents that are going to drop off in a couple of days, and people that they might end up cutting, Marcus Mariota, and other things like that. So for right now, $56 million. That's still number two. Chicago Bears, man, $98 million. But we'll get into that in a couple of seconds. But let's talk about the games yesterday. Of course, we talked about Philadelphia handling San Francisco 31-7, and then also Kansas City on a last-second field goal, taking care of Cincinnati 23-20. A lot of back and forth in that particular game, especially on the field. I think that's going to be. I posted it yesterday in the Atlanta Bird game. I said this Burrow Mahomes thing is smelling a lot like Brady and Peyton Manning. I just the way that both quarterbacks going back and forth. Patrick Mahomes with a heroic performance on one leg, basically hopping around, and I can't really say one leg. He was mobile enough. He's better than most, and just kind of cemented his I'm the top dog quarterback in the NFL. If that shouldn't be a question for the next 12 months, whether he is the top quarterback. Of course, the narrative was coming up that Joe Burrow was that guy, but I'm telling y'all, Patrick Mahomes did not hurt his legacy last night, being injured and leading his team to victory. Terry, what's going on, man? Terry's watching on Uncle Steve's Lounge. I appreciate it. If you all get a chance, please like the video and subscribe. Tell other folks about it. We got a lot of stuff coming up in the off season. We're not going to just turn it off just because the Falcons aren't playing. Of course, you all know, as we were talking about today with the salary cap, there are going to be probably cuts coming. I'm sure there are going to be a couple of trades, things like that. But we will be here for you and have a cast of characters in to talk about what's going on with the season. Travis is in the house. What's going on, Travis? How you doing, sir? I am so glad that you joined us today. Sean is in the house on Atlanta Bird Gang. What's going on? Brother Phillip is also there. Say, speak on that new cap space, new coach, free agency, and draft. What is your opinion? I am going to speak on that. I actually have it right here in my screen. As soon as I say hello to everybody, Phillip, we are going to get into that. Clayton, what's going on, brother? Happy belated birthday. I'm going for the Chiefs. Watson on DB came from my alumni. Oh, okay. All right. I hear you. And the Chiefs, man, dude, can we put a little respect on Chris Jones, man? Woo! That boy was a beast last night. It's almost like somebody told him, yeah, Kansas City's defense is garbage. And he just had to remind folks yesterday that he is that cat. So that's awesome. Markeith in the house, what's going on? Francis Washington, how you doing out there? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us on Uncle Steve's Lounge. PJ, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you out there. Hope everything's going well. Rusty, what's going on? Say, what's up, my guy? I had a guy earlier in the group put out a scenario asking if we should trade for Justin Fields. I said no. The optics of that would look bad, being as how we passed up on him 2 years ago. He said that San Francisco passed on Christian McCaffrey as well, and look where he is now. I told him it was apples and oranges, what he was complaining. Why are people in this group delusional? I think the only thing is, Rusty, and I'm not going to even go quite delusional on him, because Chicago has ended up with the number one pick. Now, you're absolutely right that Christian McCaffrey anomaly just happened to kind of fall in San Francisco's lap. But if you're Chicago, and remember, Chicago is in a similar situation that we were in a couple of years ago with a high draft pick at number 4 and a new regime coming in. Who knows? Chicago might want to put a reset. Maybe the guys who are stepping into the job now, maybe they didn't want Justin Fields. So if they don't want Justin Fields, they're in a position to make that change, man. I mean, you can literally say, look, and Justin Fields right now, I don't think I would give more than, I don't know, maybe a first, possibly a second. I don't think I would. He would have to get a first round pick. But delusional is probably not the word I'd look for. Far-fetched, maybe. Not quite delusional, but who knows? David in the house. What's going on, Dave? Say a lot of trash talk for Kansas City Cincinnati game called Arrowhead Burrowhead. Boy, oh boy. And I was saying to myself, of all people to be up there on that open mic, Jim Nance was trying to get it away from him. Yeah, we don't have time, Travis. But and Travis like, no. I'm gonna get mad. Burrowhead, man. But Cincinnati, they talked a lot of stuff, man. The Joe Mixon's, forgot the other brother, Hilton or Milton, whatever his name is. Eli Apple. I mean, those guys, they talked a lot of mess, man. So hopefully they were able to back it up. And they did not. So a lot of crow being eaten by some Cincinnati Bengals. Facebook user says, hey, Steve, hope you had a great birthday. I did, my friend. Thank you very much, even though I can't see who it is. But yes, I had a great birthday yesterday. Millie Mills in the house. What's going on, man? How you doing today? PJ says we need a Hassan Reddick. Yes. Really? To be honest with you, more than even Hassan Reddick, I need that type of mentality with my defensive scheme / coach, which while we'll get into Ryan Nielsen here in a couple of minutes, because to have that many sacks on the year, yeah, Reddick is a beast, as we all know, but yeah, everybody was eating on that Philly team. So the mere fact that everybody got an opportunity to do that, that is just really crazy how many sacks they accumulated this year. Travis says we're seeing the beginning of the Mahomes Burrow rivalry. I say the same thing. That's what I said yesterday in my post. I think it's, you want rivalries like this. The NFL is going to love this. If they get Kansas City, Cincinnati, whether it's in the division or conference game every year, that is pure gold right now. Don't be surprised if you see some great numbers from that game as far as how many people watched that game. I thought that was pretty good yesterday. Facebook user says trash talk is part of sports. Fans and players alike partake. I'm here for it. Hey, that's what I'm saying. I have no problem with it. My thing is just remember when you're on the wrong side of it, you gotta put that Teflon on. You gotta be tough because we can dish it out all day, but boy, when it's time to take it, the bullets hurt a little bit. They feel a little different when they start talking about you. So sometimes you have to be careful when you do it. But I love it for the game. I love the Burrowhead thing because you knew Kansas City was ready to erupt and come back on them. And this is the stuff that rivalries are made of. When you start talking about, and not even so much interdivision. I know a lot of people look at Baltimore and Pittsburgh as that rivalry, Chicago, Green Bay, Dallas and I guess Philly. This year is Dallas, Philly. But when you have teams, playing on a high level like Kansas City and Cincinnati have been for the last 2 years, man, I'm telling you, the NFL is going to sell that. And don't think that the KC Cincinnati game next year, you can already pencil it in for a Sunday night game. The division winners, so you know they're going to play. And they love this. Again, I'd say Manning Brady part 2.0, if you look at it. Millie Mills says we all have to respect the greatness of Patty Mahomes, definition of a generational talent. Not only that, Billy, I think yesterday, if he had not before, dude, stop wasting time, man. Go on and size him up. Start, getting the curls ready in the bust in Canton. I know he hasn't played a long time, folks, but what they say, this is his fifth straight AFC championship game, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win so far, MVP, probably going to be a second MVP this year. Woo. David Starson says, and Eli Apple has no business talking trash. Let me tell you something, David. My son cannot stand Eli Apple, which I told him the whole time because Eli Apple might be somebody we bring in here surprisingly. Now, don't be shocked. He is a free agent. So, but yeah, front-running people bother me more than anything else because Cincinnati didn't get to where they were because of Eli Apple. Yeah, it's a team effort. I'm not, for those who want to jump in and say it's the whole team, I get that. But Eli Apple's play didn't help them get to the conference finals yesterday. And when you're the loudest and your contribution doesn't match the volume, those are the people that just tick you off. To me, that's what I did. Lisa says, that was me, Steve, wishing you a happy birthday. Oh, okay. Thank you, Lisa. And I apologize. Like I said before, sometimes the StreamYard is kind of weird because sometimes it'll let your name come through. Like I saw Rusty's came through, and sometimes it won't. Sorry about that, but thank you very much. I appreciate you. Is anyone in Atlanta sad for Shanahan? LOL, question to not answer. Let me tell you something. And I'll say this to anybody else, man. I get the anger and all of that for Shanahan. I get it. I really do. And some people hold things probably more than others. So I get it. The one thing you can't deny, that cat gets his teams in position to get to the Super Bowl. 3 out of 4 times, and in the year that he didn't make it, dang near 75% of the people were hurt. You haven't heard the last of Kyle Shanahan. For those who are thinking that's it, no. San Francisco is a team to be reckoned with. Don't be surprised if they make it right back. Don't be surprised at all. But yeah, Shanahan, yeah, he's persona non grata here, but hey. Billy says, one-legged and throwing darts. Why can't my quarterback do that? And that's the thing we always talk about, Billy, when we start talking about possibility of getting those types of quarterbacks, no matter who they are and where they come from, getting a proven commodity. One of the things I made a post about was a lot of people were going the route where we start, leaning into the Ritter or whoever, whether it be free agent, draft, or whatever. The crazy narrative that, well, this particular veteran, he gets hurt, so I want a young rookie on a rookie quarterback, on a rookie contract. So you're saying that all veteran quarterbacks that have the tendency to get hurt are better than the rookies on the first contract. Like that's automatic. So when the Purdy thing happened in the first series, it's the first thing I posted. Like, oh, he's on a rookie contract. So he gets hurt. I wanted to explain that to people to say, youth is cool. It is. And these rookie contracts are great if you can take advantage of it. But these guys aren't immune to injury. Lord forbid, I'm not wishing this on anything. We go into the season next year and something unfortunate happens to Desmond. I mean, you want to make sure you have somebody else to fall back on. And give San Francisco credit, man. San Francisco started the year. Everybody's talking like Jimmy G was automatic. If y'all remember, beginning of the year, they were trying to trade him. Nobody was biting. He had to restructure his contract just to stay on the team. Nobody wanted to take that hefty contract. So you had Trey Lance that was starting. He immediately went out. Jimmy G, thank God we signed Jimmy G. Jimmy G was your second string. Jimmy G was not the beginning starter. And then Jimmy G got hurt. Here comes Purdy. Give Kyle Shanahan credit because we already know what he can do with quarterbacks. See 2016. But yeah, man, I want one of those too, Millie. Rusty says, I really don't even think Hurts played a very good game yesterday and they still blew out San Francisco. I will take Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. I say this about that. A lot of people were criticizing that. I heard somebody say, oh, well, he only put up these numbers. He only did this. Yeah, but he did a lot of other things to get you to this point. He wasn't exactly playing the Atlanta Falcons defense yesterday. Let's not forget that San Francisco's defense is still pretty good. So when people say he didn't do a lot, I really wasn't expecting him to do a lot. But they ran the ball. They did a decent job running the ball. And again, it's kind of hard when you're basically playing a Pop Warner quarterback on that. I know Josh Johnson. If there are any Josh Johnson fans out there, I'm not dogging him personally. I'm just saying, but that dude wasn't ready for that type of spotlight. He literally was in the thing. I can't hear. And the Philly fans was like, yeah. We know you can't hear. And when he fumbled that ball, you knew he wasn't ready for the moment, man. It was just crazy. RJ says, good afternoon, Unc. Hope you enjoyed your birthday yesterday. Yes, sir, I did. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I did. Lisa says, just got a notification Purdy is out for 6 months. That's not a shock. And Purdy probably wasn't going to be starting anyway. So I think this is still going to be Trey Lance's team. I think Trey Lance is still going to be the guy once he gets back. And they're going to go from there. PJ says San Francisco is a quarterback away. Yep. That's how you do it. David Starr says, I will hold on to what Shanahan did forever. It will not stop me from giving him his props as a coach or a pass for yesterday. Can't be hypocritical. That part there. I'm not going to sit here and throw roses for his accomplishments, but you can't ignore them. You can't ignore them. I'll be willing to bet if you go back into the history of a lot of head coaches, that you're not going to see a lot of them have a run like, excuse me, sorry, this coat making me burp, like Kyle Shanahan. You're not. Brother Carlos in the house. What's going on, man? So much for my prediction. Just stopping through and throwing up my hand. What's going on, man? I hope you're doing all right. Be safe on them roads, my friend. What's happening up? How's the year so far? I'm so ready for the offseason and free agency with the draft. I think all Falcon fans are. Speaking of which, I promised I do have the salary cap sitting over here. We talked about it at the beginning. The new salary cap was leaked, and the new number this year is $224 million for the salary cap, man. And we look on this list, we see the Atlanta Falcons have 56,399,000 at this second. As of January 30th, there are a lot of things that can happen in between there. I think we're going to probably have a couple of restructures. A couple of people are going to get cut, maybe some surprise cuts. I don't know, but got a long way to go before we get there. But we do have a nice little amount of money there at our disposal. I'm going to put up real quick. I know we talk about this quite a bit when we start talking about free agents out there, but most teams want to take care of their own. I'm a proponent of doing that if we're able to. But I also think from a free agent standpoint, I think the pickings are pretty slim for the Falcons if you really think about it. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I took that 2023 free agents. Here we go. And this is all courtesy of Spot Track too. So let me share it again. I'm sorry, y'all. Technology is messing with me. Here we go. I mean, when we start talking about the free agents, I know probably the most important name on this list right here is Caleb McGarry, coming off the year that he had. Now, I know his agent is probably not going to give Atlanta first dibs because Atlanta didn't give him that fifth-year option. So I'm not like everybody else. I think there are people that are optimistic. I think McGarry is gone. Unless there's some kind of way that he can talk them into it if they end up maybe franchising him or something like that. But I think McGarry is probably gone. I do like if we could get Lorenzo Carter to come back, that 3.5 is still kind of rich for me. But somewhere along that line, if we can keep him right there, I wouldn't mind having him. I think OZ, I think he's a favorite, but I think we just need to really upgrade our wide receiver core. I don't think he's going to be around, in my opinion. Isaiah Oliver is somebody that's intriguing, depending on what DC McNeil has in store for us, or I should say Jerry Gray has in turn, because they're saying that Jerry Gray is being brought down from Green Bay to coach the defensive backfield. So I don't know whether that's upgrade or not. I know Green Bay had a couple of guys up there that were doing pretty well, so who knows? Rashaan Evans, definitely somebody that I have circled to say we probably need to look out for him, see if we can get him back in the fold at 1.75. I wouldn't mind giving him a slight bump up, as we probably will have some either younger or new linebackers in here. But again, we might have a whole new thing going on with our DC. And I haven't forgot about him, folks. Ryan Nielsen coming over from New Orleans is the defensive coach and co-defense coordinator there for the Saints. I know I haven't had a chance to speak on it. A lot of people have been kind of poo-pooing the move for some reason. I think there is a great many of you who still think that, you know, he comes from the Saints is probably a trick. But I'm somebody that's ready to give him a chance. I want to see what he's all about, and hopefully, you know, give him an opportunity to coach some of these young defensive linemen and some of these young linebackers that we have. Maybe he can turn around Michael Walker and get him playing to some consistency. Maybe he can get Troy Anderson to be that, low-key Micah Parsons character that kind of seems like he might have the potential to be. I don't know. But 281 sacks in 5 years, and that's second in the NFL for that stretch. It's nothing to sneeze at. And whether he comes from New Orleans or not, if you get that type of coaching talent, and let's see what he can do. Of course, it's easy to say, well, he doesn't have the talent from New Orleans, but aside of Cam Jordan and Hendrickson, who left, who is everybody talking about on the defensive line? Well, Sheldon Rankin, maybe. But who else is everybody talking about on the D-line? Not a whole lot. So maybe that's what it is. People a little bit afraid because of the New Orleans tie. Rusty says, here's some information for y'all you might not have known. McGarry and Lindstrom are boys and have been even before the draft. If we offer him market value, he might want to stay and play next to his boy. They talked about it in an interview a few years ago. And that could have some play into it. But here's the problem. Lindstrom is about to get broke off. I don't think they're going to break off McGarry. I think McGarry's best bet is to hit the free agent market and try to get his money. I would love to keep him, but listen, that fourth year thing, that fifth year option, it's a little bit of a slap. I would love to go back and see players who weren't retained after their fifth year and how many of them actually come back. Do y'all think Josh Jacobs is actually going to go back to Vegas after he kind of spurned them? I don't think so. And I think McGarry is in the same place. Good for him for showing up this year and bringing up his value, because his agent can play it all day. See, he was just he was blossoming. He wasn't ready yet. Now he's ready. That's what his agent can say. Falcons like, we saw after 3 years, he wasn't going to be anything, so we're not going to extend. We're not going to give him that fifth year. That might come back to bite him. David Starr says, Oliver is interesting. It depends on what Gray wants to run. If he wants to run single high, let him walk. But I think he'll be a good cover in a two high safety shell. I think maybe that's what you're talking about. And I would just like to keep, because I have seen growth in Oliver since he first hit the scene. If y'all remember when Oliver first came in, he was thrown into the fire that first year. And we were so down on him, not realizing that dude wasn't expected to come in there and play. That was the year that everybody went down on the team. And I just, I would like to see them take a chance on him, not overspend to keep him, but I wouldn't mind them keeping him around. Lisa says, I think fans sometimes forget that coaches and coordinators are not fans. Coaches and coordinators go to rival teams with no issues. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Some players do too. It's been a little bit of trading up. I was talking about Pittsburgh and Baltimore and that rivalry. There's been a little bit of folks going back and forth in that rivalry, team to team. Winston Thornton in the house. What's going on, man? Thank you for joining us on Uncle Steve's Lounge. I appreciate it as always. Lisa says Nielsen is with Falcons now, so let him work. Absolutely. Yeah, I as fans, and I always try to speak from the fan perspective because I'm a fan. We are, man. We, by nature, I think there's skepticism because he comes from the Saints. Same thing with Terry Fontenot. I remember when he first was signed and people were like, are we bringing this guy from New Orleans? Really? We really bringing him? And to your point, yeah, they don't care. They following the paycheck. and the respect level. Fontenot wasn't given the opportunity there because Mickey Loomis was in the way. So he's like, okay, well, that don't give me a chance. I'm going to go over here. And I'm pretty sure Nielsen is the same way. And don't think that this won't have an effect on who they might bring over here. That could have a major effect on who's coming to Atlanta. If he was getting that out of a lot of his folks, man, that's deep. So don't forget about that. Armani, what's going on, nephew? Say, I don't mind that Saints always had good to great defense. And as much as they always talk about how many times he sacked Matt Ryan, Saints actually had a really nice defense. You can argue that they carried Drew Brees his last 2 years, without a doubt. Drew Brees fell off quick. And that defense was there to that. From 1920, they carried Drew. They absolutely did. And thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Winston, thank you so much. Yeah, and please, folks, like and subscribe if you do. I appreciate that. We are, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 923. So we like 77 from 1,000. So I appreciate everyone being willing to listen to what I got to say and the folks we bring on and the content. I just, again, I'm not here to be a coach. I'm not here to tell you which plays, which X and O's to play, but I am here as a fan and just to interact with other fans and give you all, from the fans' perspective, and give you all a voice in that. And I just, that's what we're here for. Facebook user says, I do believe we're going to get 2 or 3 guys from the Saints D-line. They have like 6 free agents on that D-line. You know what? Let us see. Since we're talking about that, I'll pull this up while we're doing that. Rusty says, if Nielsen calls a defensive line like Dennis Allen does, it's going to be a lot of man coverage. That plays to the strengths of AJ and Isaiah. Both are press man covers. That's why Dean Pease aggravated me with that zone defense. In my opinion, he was bad at playing to his players' strength. Yeah, I think we made a lot of excuses for him. And I think he, for Dean Pease, we absolutely did. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get back to this New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints, free agents. New Orleans Saints, free agents. Let's look at it together, y'all. Put it up here. Share the screen. All right. And New Orleans is dead last in salary cap. So some of these folks are going to have to go. Ayamada, this cat right here, I know I've seen him terrorize folks for the last couple of years. That price tag might be kind of interesting right there, but he actually is a pretty good little player. Everybody's been talking about Marcus Davenport. I don't think Marcus Davenport would cost you a whole lot, but he's interesting. Shy Toto, I've seen him as a rotational guy come in there and think about it, just like Facebook user was saying here. The knowing Coach Nielsen could help us big time. Condavious Street, I've definitely seen him come in there before. So yeah, so they got some players available. So let's see how this thing plays out. We got about a month before they get into the tampering period. So we'll see. Millie Mill says Davenport. Yes, sir. Absolutely. I can deal with that. David Stark says, this free agent period, I think we just need to concentrate our money on our players. Lindstrom is a must. Carter at the right price. And Evans, I would love to have back. When you say Zacchaeus, I'm torn. I want to draft an over-the-top receiver and move him to the slot. But I also think bringing McCole Hardman home at the right price would upgrade the slot immediately. Let's go there then. Let's go look at the NFL. And let's look at free agency with the wide receivers. Because I think, let's go here. Contracts, salary. Where's my free agent tracker? I love this website. Free agents, and let's look at wide receivers, folks. Because the pickings are slim. I do know that. All right. So let me share again. There we go. So let's go to David's point and talk about wide receivers. As far as when I go to the top of a list and I see Nelson Aguilar as at the top of the list for wide receiver, I get worried. Sterling Shepard is up there. DJ Chark, but that would be kind of interesting. They have St. Brown and what's the other kid's name who's been balling out in Detroit this year. I think they might be set at wide receiver. They might let him go. Of course, Randall Cobb, he's going to follow Aaron Rodgers wherever he goes. Marvin Jones, who had a nice little complimentary year this year. But remember, Calvin Ridley is headed in. So he's going to be looking for a team. This little cat right here, he looks familiar. But 33 years old, and we already know what the history of those injuries are. So I'm not sure you go there. Alan Lazard, he's available. Jacoby Meyer. Juju, I think, is earned his next contract with Kansas City. I'm sure they're going to look to keep him at 26 years old. So, yeah, it's not a lot of folks out there from a wide receiver standpoint. So you probably are going to be looking at drafting somebody out of school, David. But with OZ, I don't know. I'm not sure OZ. I would think long and hard about re-signing OZ for me. Kind of how Russell Gage feels when you start talking about him. James, what's going on, man? Appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, the birthday wishes. Anthony, what is going on? Thank you again, my friend. Thank you for asking folks to like and subscribe, and we all do that. I appreciate you. Winston's in the house says Davenport and Onyemata for sure I would take. And I'm sure Nelson will have a say in who he wants over here. Both of those guys look pretty good to me. Millie Mills says, give me Jacoby Myers. Yeah, Jacoby Myers is actually somebody that could be pretty decent. And I think you could probably get him for a little cheaper amount. I don't think he's going to be a $10 million guy. I think he's good, but I don't think he's like a one, in my opinion. I think here in Atlanta, I think we're set at one with Drake. Rusty says, only hesitation about Hardman is that he was more suspect than consistent in Kansas City, and that's playing with probably the most talented quarterback in NFL history. We don't exactly have a sniper yet at quarterback in Atlanta. I'm with it as long as we don't overpay for that 4.2 speed. And he has been, I must admit, I'm surprised that he's been a little bit more injury prone. And maybe that could be this year. I don't know, but I would take a flyer on it if we got a chance to. McCole Hardman, Yeah, he's that little sneaky cat. He's that cat that can come back and give us those what's his name? Taylor Gabriel kind of vibes on another level. I think I would love that if he could fill in that spot. RC, what's going on, man? Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Twan? What's going on? How can I change that? It's there's a disclaimer with the Facebook thing that's supposed to be there where you give them permission to put your name on there. I'll be honest with you. I haven't done it because I'm the one pushing out the StreamYard, but I know there are some directions that should come in the front of the stream. I think so. Scooter says, what's going on? Scooter said, we better off taking one of the young cats out of the draft for wide receiver too, as long as we don't reach too high, Scooter. I am probably in the consensus with a lot of people that we should go defense when you start talking about the top of the draft. I am not against if Bryce Young or CJ Stroud happen to fall to number 8 and we maybe take a chance. There's a little bit of skepticism to me because you'll have 2 young guys in camp. I got into a whole back and forth with somebody on Facebook about veteran quarterbacks and what the advantages would be. I just still think you need to get a veteran quarterback. I would go see what matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up right here since we're talking about it. And I know you were talking about wide receiver, but I just wanted to bring this up. Let's go here real quick, because this is what we've been talking about, y'all. This is what we've basically been talking about. This is the free agent list for quarterbacks. Put your thing off here for a second, Scooter. Where's my thing? There we go. Okay. Tom Brady. Nope. Baker Mayfield. Nope. Sam Darnold. Nope. Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe. Now, if they want to do something like say, hey, we're going Ritter all the way, maybe a Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe. If you have those fickle New York fans who are saying, yeah, you got smoked by Philadelphia, we'll push you off, Daniel Jones. Everybody else is going to be a career backup. Case Keenum, Mason Rudolph, Jacoby Brissett, who a lot of people have been talking about. I don't think Geno is going to get out of Seattle. I think they're going to give him one more year, especially since he took them to the playoffs. Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton, no thank you. Mike White, Jets, which is interesting to me. He had a couple of good games, but I think they're going to try to really bring him back on the bench. Tyler Heineke, I know a lot of people he has some hometown ties, and then way down here, that guy that nobody wants to talk about, but he's there. So yeah, so it's not any slam dunks with the free agency. So it's really going to depend on the philosophy that Terry is going to have, and we'll find out an answer for these next 30 to 40 days. We're going to be not 40 days. I think it starts at the beginning of March. I have to see. I think it's like second week of March. We'll know by the second week of March what direction we'll probably go in. If you don't see them first, see what some of the teams are going to do, because I am 100% sure that Baltimore is going to tag Lamar Jackson. It's just a matter of whether it is exclusive rights or non-exclusive rights. So that tag will kind of tell you where they're leaning in that direction. But other than that, y'all, the quarterbacks, it's slim pickings, very slim pickings. So we'll look at that. Shard Patterson, what's going on, man? How you doing? I finally got to hop on the YouTube channel. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you joining us from across the way. Thank you so much. Maddie is in the house. Say, I'll take Chark Jr., Devondre Campbell, or Darius Slayton. I'm not sure they're going to let Slayton get out of New York. I don't think so. I think Slayton will probably end up getting there. Was he on the list? Maybe he was on the list. But I don't think they let him get out of New York. He might still be under contract, actually. Rusty says Nielsen was a Terry hire. He probably went to Art and said, okay, we tried it your way. It didn't work. I'm calling the shots now. I trust Terry with business decisions, but Art strikes me as stubborn, hence waiting 14 games to bench Marcus. Well, Rusty, I'm in a little bit of that camp with you. I probably disagree with you to say that, he probably went to him and said, we'll try it your way. I think Art probably asked his assistants in that. Listen, the person more on the hot seat for all of this stuff right now is Arthur. Think about it. Terry Fontenot is going to get all the accolades for getting this salary cap down to now where we can truly do some things this year. He came in and did some unpopular things. He got rid of the franchise hero, who some think is arguably the best player in Falcons history. That's probably going to take a little hit as a GM to say, oh, no, you got rid of our favorite. He also parted ways with Julio Jones for less than valued, second round pick? They did. So there are a lot of people that were probably kind of ticked off at Terry in the interim between 2021 and 2022. But now at the beginning of 2023, Terry Fontenot is a hero. He swiped up, got the boards clear. Now, we as fans, we're sitting around and trust me, this is the most excitement we've had, which is why I welcome all of the pro Lamar Jacksons, anti Lamar Jacksons, pro Ritter. Ritter's going to be here, so I'm not worried about that. But all of the different opinions, there's no wrong opinion. And at the end of the day, the guy who Rusty was talking about, Terry Fontenot, he's like a kid in a candy store right now. Because you can afford everything, sans Chicago. You can go do whatever you want. You can play the game of shoot for the moon, get the big guy and then a couple of ancillary pieces. You can play the game of, you know what, we're going to build tough all around and hope and pray and cross our fingers and toes that Desmond turns out to be that guy that was drafted in the third round, and hope he turns out to be that cat. And he has a lot of options. That's why I'm telling people, y'all be careful. I mean, just slow down, calm down. We got a long way to go. And I just have trust that whatever they're doing, I think it's going to turn out to be pretty good. I'm just telling you right now, barring catastrophic injury for this Falcon team, I'm calling it right now. 9-8, 10-7. And if we start off slow, just like Dan Quinn, that hook is short. I don't think 2-4 is going to be tolerated this year. I really don't. And you might be getting Nielsen in place just in case things go left. As I don't think Arthur has that equity this year. I think Terry is going to say, dude, I'm getting you every piece you need, or I'm going to give you pieces to be successful, whether it be draft, via free agency, trades. I'm going to give you everything you need, but you can't start 2-4. You can't start 1-5. I got to get us over 500. We still haven't done it. We still haven't been over 500 since 2017. I want to go and watch and look and see of all the teams, which teams have yet to do that. So it's interesting. Okay, let's go back here. Facebook user says, and I feel if the Deron Payne signing doesn't work, we can sign Davenport and Omoyamada, or however you spell his name. Yeah, bro, it's going to take a minute. He started getting sacks. Everybody will pronounce his name correctly. And I hope we can sign Hargrave from Philly. Also, keep an eye on Jermaine Grant from Cincinnati. I'm not sure what his price tag will be, but he'll be a good linebacker, and he's very aggressive. I'd say he's better than Evans. Even more on Cincinnati. I would love if Bates is available. Hopefully he's ticked off at this loss and he wants to take advantage of his impending free agency. I think that's somebody who can probably help out that safety position in a large way. Amani says, that's David. Let's go to Amani. Amani says, I think if Arthur was truly committed to Ritter, he would have said it. But yeah, I'm in that category too. I don't think any of them are gonna say. I don't think it's any teams aside of maybe the teams that went into the postseason, San Francisco, no pun intended, because their quarterback situation is a little interesting. But why would you commit to Ritter right now, verbally? That would be a mistake. And I'm not trying to get into Lamar, other things. I would like that. But I'm also saying just keep your options open. You don't even want publicly. You don't want people to publicly know what you want to do right now, this second. You don't. That would be ridiculous. Why would you show your hand? I wouldn't do that in a heartbeat. David says March 15th is the start of the new league year. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you as always. Thank you. Let's see. Winston says March 15th. Thank you, sir. Appreciate y'all. My buddy Tidy says, what's up, Tidy? How you doing, brother? Says Julio was a second round and fourth. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a good move. That was a genius move. Because look at what Julio has been now. I think we were probably 1 year late making that move, but he was hurt the year before he left, so whatever. But that's the key right there, Tidy. Being able to know when it's over, being able to sense when, we need to cut bait. The Falcons were extremely emotional about that contract to Julio, and Julio made it that way. I think they should have called his bluff. As much as Matt was keeping a good hoard of the salary cap kind of locked down, I think we should have had some tough love with Julio. Julio was mad that Matt got his money. Oh, let me go in here and try to get mine, and we fell for it. The banana in the tailpipe. Fell for a hook, line, and sinker. Toddy says, also got to give Terry props for trading the guy who was on a 1 year. Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. 1 year suspension with Ridley. Absolutely. And there's still people that are waxing poetic for Ridley. Oh, we had Ridley. What a great tandem. Well, you got to come to work first. That's not against you having some issues. Just saying, but you got to come to work. How am I going to have trust in you and you're not sure? That's another one. Great decision. I think I would have waited to the draft. That's about the only thing. I almost think you could have got more for him. But I hope, what we hope for, y'all, we got to root for Ridley to to ball out, right? Because in order for us to get, I think it's depends on if he signs a contract with them after this. If he signs a contract with them, then that pick gets upgraded to, I think it's a second round pick. Y'all double check. Armani says, like I said, Terry will fire Hartsville before he lets his own self get fired. You better believe that. You better believe it. Gregory says, what's going on? Greg said, just a while ago they were saying Jalen Hurts was trash and a bust. Now he's in the Super Bowl. It's so funny how the narrative changed on Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, if you think about, being benched in that national championship game, had to ride the bench and watch the guy who threw who took over your job after 1 quarter's worth of work. Then you went to Oklahoma, balled out. Finalist for the Heisman. Then you had to go in the second round in the draft. Yeah, it's a crazy story. It's a crazy story, yeah, but he does. And listen, and listen, nephew I know who's in the thing, Armani, y'all folks gave up on him. Y'all gave up on him, just like Alabama does. I'll just mess with you. Winston says we got too much money to spend for a 2-4 start and opt to survive it. Absolutely. Todd says Falcons must have a winning season in 2023. No excuses will be accepted. None whatsoever. That's why I think, Toddy, if it starts off wonky, I think the leash is short. And you better have coordinators, Nielsen, or if we holding on to Ragone, you better have some coordinators that are ready to take over just in case. Because all that little double talk in the media and stubborn and don't want to say anything and all that, people aren't paying that attention. If you come in here 3 years straight and can't get over 500 outside of September, I would put him on a rocky hot seat if he started 2-2. The schedule is not very daunting on paper. Of course, we know things change as the year goes. But initially, that schedule isn't a world beater. We've lucked up in that sense the last 2 years. We play arguably the worst division in the AFC next year. And then we play a declining NFC North. So, I don't know. Armani says, I don't want to hear the quarterback BS if Ritter doesn't work out because Arthur chose not to draft a quarterback in either the first 3 top 10s or you had to go on in free agency. Here's what I'm hoping about that, nephew. I think Terry wants that quarterback. Matter of fact, if I were to zoom into Terry's house right now, and Terry's having dinner or doing whatever he's doing, he's probably looking at a screen right there and he's waiting for alerts to come up to see what Baltimore is going to do. I think he wants that splash player to increase chances of his legacy being taken seriously. You can come with the stories of Purdy. Look at Purdy. See, he's Mr. Irrelevant. He can do a quarterback. Then they don't have to spend money. Yeah, that folks, that was a once-in-a-lifetime shot. And give him credit for taking advantage of it. They didn't think Purdy was so. If Purdy was that great, Purdy would have gone in the first rounds before him. Every single team passed him up 7 times except for San Francisco. So I don't want to hear the hidden talent of Purdy. He was Mr. Irrelevant for a reason. He was 1 second from being undrafted. Matty says we should go after Jesse Bates immediately. Yeah, Jesse Bates is somebody that I have my eye on. We have to improve that safety position, no doubt. Gregory says, just a couple a few years ago, they were saying Jalen Hurts was. Oh, did I do that? Did I do that twice, or was somebody else had the same thing? Yeah, I think you had the same thing. Millie says, Lamar not gonna play on that tag. Soon as they tag him, he's probably gonna demand a trade. He's a passionate player and gonna want to be in Baltimore long term, or he's out. And that's what I'm thinking's going on. Millie, if I had a dollar for everybody that soon as remember the little day that the general manager and John Harbaugh came up and they were like, oh yeah, he's gonna be here 200%. He's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. Guess what? Today, January 30th, they don't have to wait to negotiate his contract. They could be doing it now. He's already in-house. They don't have to wait. They can sign him right now. So for all of the big press conference and, oh, yeah, the Lamar, we're going to do this, we're going to do it. Now, changing OCs could be interesting because allegedly that's one of the reasons why they were saying he was having problems in that system. That could be a way to kind of help. But I'm still, the one person I'm waiting to hear from is not John Harbaugh. It's not the GM from Baltimore. It's not even the owner of Baltimore. It's Lamar himself. Because what players usually do, if you guys remember when Matt Ryan used to come up every 3 years before he would come up on either extension or whatever. And what you would hear from Matt is you would hear, yeah, I know, listen, I love Atlanta. My intention is here to stay. I'm going to work with all of I can to make sure that we get this right. And I really love being a Falcon. You hear that from Eric. Dak Prescott, when they foolishly signed him to that contract. Yeah, love Dallas, love everybody here. Everybody surrounding me. Gonna work with the agents to see what we can do. You heard that from those guys. You ain't heard a peep from Lamar yet. Why are we automatically thinking this man is just going to say, okay, let me say, what did I say, 35 million? All right. No guarantees? What did Deshaun get? He got a masseuse, right? I mean, just to say, what do you have right now that says it's so automatic that he's coming back? I don't know. Ricky in the house. What's going on, Ricky? Good to see you. Thank you for joining in. We kind of just going a hodgepodge of things. Talking about yesterday's games, one great, one not. Obviously talking Falcons as we always are. Just threw some names out there for free agency. We looked at the quarterback position, looked at the wide receiver position. Just getting some ideas of what people are talking about, and also talking about the addition of the new defensive coordinator, Ryan Nielsen, what he's going to bring to this defense. Are there ancillary pieces from New Orleans who they can't afford that may be willing to follow him into Mercedes-Benz Dome to actually have a real live pass rush? Be interesting. Todd says if he signs an extension, it goes to a second round pick. Thank you, sir. And that was the Calvin Ridley deal. And that's what we're hoping for. We want him to sign that deal without a doubt. Rusty says, if I could hand pick one free agent, it would be Daron Payne. And I've heard that name quite a bit, and I don't want to disparage it. I would love, who wouldn't want to have him? Tell y'all what, though, Daron ain't coming for free. Daron ain't coming for $10 million. Daron not coming for 15. Matter of fact, while we're here, let's look at Daron Payne's value right now. And he is with the Washington Commanders. And he is a free agent. So let's look at it together. Get y'all up here. Okay. All right. So, free agents, defensive line update. All right. Fletcher Cox is not going anywhere. Robert Quinn's not going anywhere. Javon Hargrave, I think of people might be a mistake. I don't think he's going anywhere. Not with the success Philly is having right now. Jadeveon Clowney could be interesting. I'm not sure if I'm going to pay him what he got last year, that $10 million. Onyemata, that's a guy from New Orleans that folks are talking about. Trying to get down here to Daron Payne. So let's look at Daron Payne. Daron Payne, once we get this ad out the way, let's look what his market value is this year coming up. As soon as my internet stops spinning. And he made $3.6 million this year. Daron Payne, look at that number right here. So for all of you that think that only quarterbacks are going to make out, look at what the market value for this cat is. 5 years, $97 million, 19.4. Now, that doesn't automatically mean that's what he's going to get. But it's a rough estimate in today's financial climate in the NFL. So for those of you thinking that good players are just going to all give people hometown discount, no. This cat is going to break the bank. So it's always interesting. I hear people talking about, well, don't get a quarterback, but get Daron Payne. Shoot. Daron going to cost you too. And I'm not saying he's not worth it. I'm just saying that we are so blinded and so tuned into the quarterback because it's the most important position in North American sports that we don't realize this cat gonna get paid. And you think he's gonna come to Atlanta saying, you know what, Atlanta, I'm gonna do y'all a good one. I'm gonna give y'all a discount and only come for $13.5. Shoot. If he coming to Atlanta, he gonna want more. Because he's leaving. Washington ended up kind of coming back to earth. But he's leaving a team defensively that definitely had a lot more upside than what we have in Atlanta. So if you're coming into Atlanta to be a savior or something like that on the defensive line, and then think about this too. If he's coming for 19.4, you better hope Grady happy with that. Grady just restructured it. He did his extension, but he restructured a little stuff last year too. And he see this young Thundercat. I'm stealing that from my buddy Big Low Country. Y'all make sure y'all check him out on YouTube. Still these little whippersnappers on here. For 19.4, it lasts Atlanta for 20. Millie Mills says, according to Jacksonville, they plan on re-signing him anyway. Well, good. I hope they do. That'll help us. Out of your Falcon mind, speaking of YouTube creators, what's going on? It's John and Mike handling their business as always. They're stopping in to show some love for thank you, brother. Got to run to baseball practice, but we'll catch the whole show tomorrow. Y'all hit that like button for Uncle. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Baseball season, man, that stuff's starting up, eh? I know it's high school basketball is getting ready to kick off in the playoffs here in a little bit too. So Armani says, as a Bama fan, I still stand by Jalen Hurts benching. We wouldn't have won the game if Jalen had stayed in the game. Do y'all agree or disagree? Oh, no, you're absolutely correct. I think there are some folks now that want to reach and claim him. Because remember the narrative 5-6 years ago. Oh, the Bama quarterbacks, McElroy, AJ McCarron, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. Now that he made the Super Bowl, that boy came straight from Bama. You're playing with Tuscaloosa. That boy Jalen. Roll Tide. Now all of a sudden he makes Super Bowl. Now he's the man. They got to keep that same engine. I'm not talking about you per se, Armani, but you know how that goes. Lincoln Riley was the best thing that happened to Jalen Hurts. Absolutely, it did. It showed folks that he could do a lot more. And I think Nick probably looked back and he tried to get the better version of that in Bryce Young. Because I like Bryce Young, but I think they had Bryce Young and Jalen Hurts. I think they could have kept him. They could have kept him in place. But I get it. You know, Tua won the championship. He won the chip for you. So I get it. John Harris in the house. What's going on, brother? Say that hot seat has turned to a hot couch. A lot of people's buns are burning. They should be. You can't give buys to folks who are average. You can't. You can't give 7 and 10, 7 and 10. I don't care who you have on the roster. You can't do it. Maddie says we have the easiest strength of schedule next year, but yes, it doesn't mean anything on paper. Still got to do our part. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because a lot of those teams who are looking weak right now, they're going to make changes this year. Chicago has an opportunity to flip the script this year. They really do. They can go one or two directions, really, with Chicago. Chicago can say, you know what? Forget it. That was the last regime that drafted Justin Fields. We want to get Bryce Young. They're the number one team. Or they can sit back and wait for people to come with those trade requests. Hey, Atlanta, what you want? Yeah, bring us Kyle Pitts right quick. We'll get that number one pick, which I wouldn't do, but I'm just saying. You, Terry, and Arthur Blake are neighbors. So just walk over and knock on the door and ask him, man, I can't knock on this door, man. He got them Dobermans out there. I wish I was up in Florida, Brett. Trust me. Todd says Purdy was a cool story, but fans got to stop leaning on the Purdy and Brady to try and make points about picking quarterbacks in the later rounds. Speaking of out of your Falcon mind, if y'all do go to their show on YouTube, and please subscribe and like, cost you nothing, and also include Tidy on the Atlanta Bird game in YouTube. If you go out of your Falcon mind, John had a nice list of quarterbacks who were drafted not in the first round that actually went on to success. We all know about the Russell Wilsons, and to his point, the Purdy, which is such a lucky story, and the Tom Brady. They reach for those one or two examples, and then all of a sudden just build your whole narrative around that once in 1,000 chance. That usually is not how it goes. When you draft a quarterback in the third round in today's NFL, that's basically going to be a lifer at backup. That's usually the expectation. Last year, if y'all remember, the pickings was so slim. Kenny Pickett was the number one pick. Y'all see what I did? But the pickings was slim last year. And you didn't have that rush to go get a quarterback because the quarterback talent was lacking. Ritter was the second guy picked, and he didn't go into the mid-third round. So what does that say? You want to bet on that situation to turn out to be Brady or Wilson? Good luck. In Wilson's situation, he had everything kind of in place that year, if you remember. Tom Brady, Bledsoe, gone. They were succeeding with Bledsoe. Walked into a good situation. That's great. Purdy, arguably one of the most talented teams in the NFL. Got to be one of the top 2 or 3. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But yeah, that narrative has to stop. Ricky says, Unc, I got a question. Do you think Nielsen was the first choice, or do you think Fangio asked for too much money since he's the highest paid DC now? Do you think we should have gotten a new OC as well? I've always was beating the drum for a new OC, but if Arthur Smith likes that he has an OC that's basically going to say, yeah, just stand there because I'm going to call all the plays anyway, I don't think you're going to have a lot of OCs that want to do that. Most of the OCs come in, they want their power. They want their ability to run their show. You can't sit here and tell me that Dave Ragone has that type of flexibility with Arthur Smith basically being the main play caller, or the only play caller, I think. As far as the DC job, yeah, I think they had a lot to do with it. Look, Vic Fangio, he knows his worth. He would have been coming to the Atlanta Falcons. You come into a team that you're going to be doing a lot more teaching than normal. So, yeah. Winston says Trey Edmonds would be a dream, but I highlight that. Yeah, the Bills not going to let him get out of that. Jermaine Edmonds, no. Millie Mills says salary cap going about 16 million. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. We kind of started the show talking about that. What is it? 226, right? 224. I'm sorry, 224. We were talking about it earlier. We started the conversation talking about that salary cap. Yep. Rusty says, I'm cool with that number for Deron. We finally have the money and the D-line and the biggest thing going for 10 years. Now, I'll take him. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't take him. I'm just saying I always just, kind of balance that with if you have talented folks, and don't think those guys, the players themselves, they're looking at the teams who have the biggest salary caps, because those are the people that can probably overpay them. Chicago might go out and say, you know what? Let me put all this to rest. Bam. Deron Payne. They can pay him and still got money to spare. Winston says new cap is at 224. Thank you, brother. Billy says at the same time as his first big payday opportunity, all players take care of that NFL, not for long, so you can get it while you can. And not only that, Millie, a lot of players now, they're wanting that guaranteed money. They're not playing that deal, I'm betting on myself for the long term and the guaranteed money up front. These players talking about, I need that guarantee. And that's mostly quarterbacks, but they need that. Dwight, what's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Appreciate you. Armani says, he did graduate from the University of Alabama. He's a Bama alum. Yeah. Know about them certificates down there. I'm just joking. Jimmy Wayne in the house. What's going on, brother Jimmy? Said, here's why I spend it on meaningful defensive players as well as offense. It made no sense to spend $40 million on a quarterback or $20 million on a defender if your team is finishing bottom of the division. And definitely don't sign guys from Tennessee or New Orleans just because. It's time to get real football players. And obviously I know you're a staunch person about not reaching out to spend $40 million on a quarterback. I don't know which NFL you're looking at, but you're about to see salaries for quarterbacks surpass $40 million in about the next 3 years. I was talking about that. Did you see what the salary cap did today? Salary cap moved up. As the salary cap moves up, so does the average salary, which means the average quarterback salary. Remember, it was only about 6 years ago when we were just appalled that Matt Ryan could command $30 million. And now at $30 million, Matt Ryan might be, I don't even know if that's top 15 or 20. I don't know. I doubt it. I know it's not top 10. You gotta start thinking about, inflation, man. That's real. Not only on the outside, but in sports as well. They're giving away Dansby Swanson. What did he get? Almost dang near $40 million a year to play shortstop A few years ago, they weren't playing shortstops anything. Look at the basketball players. People are screaming about John Collins getting $25 million a year. That's probably the average now. Only 5 years ago, that's what a major player got. Things change. Situations change year to year. You get stuck on that $40 million. $40 million is going to be less than the average. That's going to be less than average in about 3 years for a quarterback. $40 million a year. Y'all want to get stuck on these first rookie contracts. You can't get stuck for long, because I know what Burrow not going to do. Burrow not going into 2023 with the same rookie contract. Want to bet? And you know why they want to sign him now? Because if you sign him now, you get him for $45 million, maybe $50 million, and save money for 2 years from now when that number is 60. You gotta think, y'all. Gotta think. Facebook user said, I'm about to say Facebook loser. Sorry about that. Look at San Francisco Williams, Philly Sue, most of all lockdown cornerback. Not only that, but Sue is one of them guys. Sue ain't trying to go to training camp. Sue will wait. And remember, Sue waited to the extreme last minute so he can jump in there. He doesn't need to go to training camp, really. Williams, I don't know. We'll see. Dwight said, just thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Uncle Steve's Lounge. Hopefully that's 924. And we're coming close to that 1K. I appreciate y'all. John Harris says, everyone has to understand when you find that quarterback you want, you're going to have to eventually pay him to keep him. Quarterback is not a position that you get rid of just because you're running into big money time. You got to pay the cost to be the boss and have a succession plan in place. There are a lot of teams right now that wish they probably weren't in the situation they're in. New Orleans one, Green Bay another. Even though Green Bay has Jordan Love, I guess he's being groomed on the side. But right now, New Orleans can't go get a quarterback if they wanted to. They basically kind of stuck, because I think Jameis is a free agent, right? So, I mean, they are stuck right now. You got to have money to play. Maddie says, I'm a Ritter fan, but last year, a lot of teams had bigger needs than quarterbacks. And now I'm saying he's the future. But if Ritter were in the draft with Lawrence, Wilson, Lance, I think he was better than Wilson and Lance. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say now in retrospect, but the Wilson story can turn out to be the same for Ritter. Ritter was the second quarterback pick. And who's to say he doesn't have the same skill set as Zach Wilson? That he could. I'm hoping he doesn't. But who can say that? He showed some flashes in the last couple of games. And I say again, with the focus on that last game against Tampa, when he was doing a little bit more stuff, the main folks were gone. So I hope he grows over the year. As my buddy John say, let's get in the quarterback camp. I hope he does. But if you have a proven person, and again, I'm not stopping the list at Lamar. You know, if the Giants are foolish enough to not let Daniel Jones come by, I don't know, Jimmy Garoppolo. There are so many other options. I just don't want to handcuff myself. Maddie says Lamar, Burrow, Herbert getting $50 million a year easily. And think about this, Maddie. Lamar is getting his money one way or the other this year. When Burrow and Herbert are up, oh my goodness. We talking 55. I'll take it one step further. And remember, Maddie, we just came out today. The salary cap went up $16 million. Do you not think these agents aren't watching that, other people? Do y'all not see that? As the salary cap comes up, the prices, those position player prices are going up, and the highest paid position is quarterback. Some of y'all think you think it's, oh my goodness. I just feel like, and I'm not even to the point where I'm arguing Lamar Jackson per se. I'm saying anybody. Burrow, Herbert. If Trevor Lawrence keeps on his trajectory, he's going to get paid. Got to stop that. D, what's going on, man? How you doing? Say, I like Ritter, but I don't mind getting a quarterback via draft or free agency to have an open competition to see who could be the quarterback to lead our offense to make plays on a consistent basis. I don't mind drafting a quarterback if that's your plan. I think what concerns me is that you'll have two young quarterbacks in your camp. And if you draft a quarterback, if you're drafting a quarterback to truly compete, I'm talking about somebody in the top five. I'm talking about either Bryce, CJ, or Levis. I told you my secret. I think Richardson in about 3 years is going to be nice. I just don't think he's ready this year. But you talking about those other three guys, you got to have somebody that's going to push Ritter. But I'm not crazy about having a young person, two young people in camp. So that way, I wouldn't mind going the Bridgewater way, the Garoppolo way. Geno, again, I don't think Geno Smith is going to make it out of Seattle. I think they're good. Matt says Swanson got 7 years, 177 million. Oh, wow. So I did that math all wrong, didn't I? So that's was that 20 something million? My bad. I was trying to give him a bigger raise. Billy says, and Unc, I'm pretty sure Lamar sees the rumors. If he wasn't feeling us, he would have personally dead that whole dream for us. And listen, I know he sees that too. You know what he also sees? He sees a New York Jets team up there that needs a quarterback. The Jets, put Lamar on the Jets, Garrett Wilson out there. Oh my goodness. False start in the house as always. What's going on, my brother? Good to see you out there. Rusty says, Deron Payne, Will Anderson, let's go Terry, fudge that count and the picks. Hey, don't think he's not looking. WCG in the house says, I was all for getting Lamar, but after watching Burrows in my home, I think the Falcons need to get rid of the job. And if he isn't good, then the Falcons can get the franchise quarterback next year with the top QB. But says, see, here's the problem with that theory of yours. Here's the problem. 2023 is upon us. If you want to get Caleb Williams, you're going to have to lose. And we just freed up all this money to go out and improve our team. So you're going to get pieces one way or the other that are probably, in general, going to improve a 7-10 team, which means maybe 2 more wins, hopefully 9-8, 10-7. You can't go into the year talking about if he isn't good. You got to go into 2023 with the mindset that I am getting folks here to make our run. I just looked at my division and I saw trash at the top, trash in the middle, and trash at the end. The first team to make their move in the NFC South with a quarterback will be the perennial favorite. I think Carolina and Atlanta have teams that are built for the next couple of years. Atlanta has the ability to build more. I think New Orleans is going to have a fire sale because they have to get that money down. If the business year starts March 15th, I think they have a certain day at the beginning of March that they have to get the salary cap down to. They are $50 million over the salary cap. So we can't sit here and act like that doesn't make a difference. Winston says, if I draft a quarterback in the first round, Ritter and him would be up for extensions at the same time because Ritter doesn't have a 5th-year extension. Yeah. Alberto, what's going on, man? Alberto says Philly laid the blueprint to win, and that's defense. Atlanta goes all defense in the draft. I'm not sure if they'll go all defense, but they'll go heavy defense. As a matter of fact, while Alberto is on, I'm going to be shifting gears over into Smitty Sports Machine and 95 North at 8 p.m. to join them for a mock draft on that platform. So if you go over to Smitty Sports Machine or 95 North Falcons Talk Show on YouTube, not only subscribe, but sit in at 8 o'clock. Going to have a mock draft over there, so make sure y'all check it out. Jimmy says, here's the thing with Lamar to Atlanta. If he comes to the NFC as a better quarterback than him athletic, let's try it again. Who, if he comes to the NFC, is a better quarterback than him athletic-wise? That's my one good argument for him. Yeah, we said that already. Actually, we were talking about that in our group with Smitty and Alberto. That automatically he jumps to the top of the list only behind Jalen, I think. So, yeah, absolutely. We were just talking about that. RJ, what's going on, man? I said, what's going on, Unc? Maddie says, New Orleans in cap hell. Yes, they are. They are. David Stark says, and Tampa with those older players will push the reset button. Hey, Tampa is done. I hate to say it, y'all. From a talent standpoint, Carolina is really, I think, the quarterback away. So don't even, shoot. They could make a move right now. Because I think PJ Walker, he might still be on the squad. But Darnold and Mayfield already got traded. I forgot about that. But Darnold is a free agent. I think they have Matt Corral still on the team. So what you got, Matt Corral and PJ Walker? You think for 1 minute that Carolina's not going to jump in that? WCG says Falcons need to lose or trade for a Lamar-type quarterback. Look at the teams going deep in the playoffs year after year. Mahomes, Burrows. Dallas' problem is they have Dak, who is good and not great. That's the first time I've seen somebody be real about Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick. So all these expectations, Dak Prescott got that money. I don't want anybody to be fooled. He is a good quarterback. Good. I stay there. But he also wears the brand of the most valued franchise in sports next to Manchester United overseas. They're worth more than the Yankees. The Dallas Cowboys, if you're quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, come on, man. Your star is there. So he took advantage of that. Now people are seeing, and I'm not saying he's done or he's washed, but I am saying people might be saying, oh, shoot, maybe we should have waited around for Tony Romo. Toddy says, is it just me, Steve, or does it seem like we have lost some cap space since the season ended? Yeah, it's funny you say that because I did remember seeing where we had 60-something million at first, and now, hold on one second, y'all. Now we're going back to where we don't have, hold on, team salary cap tracker. Yeah, because I'm sharing it with everybody who came in late. We were talking about the salary cap. Yeah, that is kind of interesting. And I didn't see any moves that we made. There was a time that this number was right around 60-something. I promise you. And I know Toddy been doing this too. And Alberto, I know we've been doing this. That number was around 60. What happened? I don't know what happened. But it is 56 now. But again, I know we haven't done a lot of moves with, the eventual cutting of Marcus Mariota and things of that nature. But I don't know. That is strange, though. because I was seeing our number a lot higher. Maybe some dead cap kicked in. Maybe this dead cap kicked in. I don't know. And I wish I was paying attention then. Maybe that kicked in. It's a good question, though, because I saw the same thing. Anthony, what's going on? What's going on, man? Good to see you. Thank you for joining me on Uncle Steve's Lounge. I'm actually getting ready to leave for a couple of minutes. I got a dinner I'm going to have with the wife in a second here, and so I can get back in time. Alberto says those were projected at first without knowing what the true cap would be. Okay, well, maybe that might be it. Thanks, bro. RJ says we lost cap space due to dead cap, mostly Deion Sanders. So that is what it is. That dead cap of $13 million, because that did kind of kick it to what it was, which was like high 60s. So that's what it was. Titus said yes, it was around 60 something, because after the Mariota cut, it would have put us in the 80s. Not sure what changed recently. And remember, the Mariota cut is not there yet. So that's the opportunity to actually add more to it. But I think it's making sense what they're saying about that Debo dead cap with $13 million. So that's probably right. Maybe those numbers maybe because future deals aren't accounted for. That could be it, but that dead cap probably makes more sense because that's it too. Winston says we signed 2 cornerbacks and a D lineman. I know we signed the cornerbacks, but I think and remember too, I know we signed our futures. Maybe that had something to do with it. Remember we signed our futures and reserves, but it seemed like I saw the number after that too. I will get an answer, folks. We will get an answer for that. We will find the capologist to get us that. That's something I think might be interesting to do too, to really get the opinion of a capologist and see what we got going on. Before I get ready to go, next week on Sunday, I will have 2 huge fans, one of Philadelphia, one of Kansas City. They are actually my cousins, and they're going to come in here and, rep their team and talk about Tiny says question name for Terry. hey, look, Terry don't want to be bothered, man. He got security guards out there. I can't just go to his house, man. But next week I'll have 2 fans talking about their teams, Philadelphia, Kansas City, who has the upper hand, and just let them battle it out. That'll be at around 3:00 on Sunday next week. So be tuned in for that. All right, folks, appreciate y'all. Thank you for spending time with your uncle, and I appreciate all the birthday wishes. Thank you so much. Again, if y'all know somebody that hasn't pushed the subscribe button, please push it, like the video. Appreciate everyone coming in on a Monday as usual in the lounge. Thank y'all so much. Again, 8:00 over in Smitty Sports Machine, 95 Sports Talk. No, sorry, 95 North Falcons Talk Show. We will have the mock draft for the Atlanta Falcons. Until then, I will catch y'all later on. Peace. Thank y'all for joining up today. Y'all be good.